Unit 3, video 20, Panic of 1819. Hopefully I can do this in 2 videos. This is part 1 of Panic of 1819. A panic is a depression. A depression is a recession. For psychological reasons, we come up with new names to make us feel like, well, it's not that bad. In 20 years, we probably won't even say the word recession anymore. We'll just say bad day. I don't know what we'll call it. The term, at least historians say, originates from Thomas Jefferson. He'll be the first person to describe this economic collapse as a panic. And you know it's pretty bad when Jefferson, a former president, now a farmer, will die in debt, will die penniless, insolvent, because the economic collapse is that severe. Imagine that today. Imagine the wealthiest people in the United States right now, whoever it is, who's in your mind? Everything's gone. They've lost it all. That person that you're envisioning today, now think about how could that person lose everything? That is how severe the Panic of 1819 is. If you can understand the Panic of 1819, then every recession, every depression that we study in this class will be pretty easy. This is a pretty good one. There's a lot of similarities from the Panic of 1819 to modern economic crises. Lost it all. Sorry, TJ. Imagine that. A president being broke. That's the Panic of 1890. Now, panics happen all the time. Throughout history, we're going to talk about panics all the time in American history. One, a little bit, a lot in American history too, and then they stop in American history too because we supposedly will design the Federal Reserve to stop these panics. But panics are temporary hurts, and they are natural. We talked about this with the economic cycles in the previous videos. There's going to be expansions. There's going to be contractions. The market and the banks will work it out. There's going to be ups and downs. It's normal. Panics are fine, but we have a government that says, no, there will never be a downturn. There will never be a contraction. There will never be a contraction or a recession or a panic or a depression, whatever you want to call it. And so the government's always trying to fix it. And the government is trying to, these are natural. There's going to be ups and downs. Interest rates are going to change. People are going to borrow. People are going to spend. Businesses are going to boom. Businesses are going to collapse. The market's going to recycle the money into different parts of the economy. People are going to be winners. It's going to be losers. It happens. Unless, of course, the government swoops in and says, no, there will never be a bad day ever. And they'll pump money into the economy. And then when that's not working, they suck money out. And often what happens is they destroy the economy in the process. Panics are normal. Depressions, recessions are normal. They normally aren't severe, but the severe ones, like what we're going to face soon, I don't know, it depends on when you're watching this video. This is September of 2020. I would say it's coming soon. Or the one that we faced in the 2008s to 2010s, or the ones that we faced in the late 90s to the 2000s, the Great Depression, you name it. They're often exacerbated or made worse by the federal government and by banking institutions, central banking institutions. Let's talk about some good times. So this was the era of good feelings until it wasn't. So going towards the Panic of 1819, we have these business flows. So let's talk about the good times. So Europe, the Napoleonic Wars are going on. And while the Napoleonic Wars are going on, a war is going on. And when a war's going on, you can't really do much other than the war thing. So, but before that, you rewind the clock to previous videos that we did in Unit 3. Remember the embargo. Now, the embargo, it was bad, but it was good, and that allowed American manufacturing, the textile industry, industries in general, to grow in the Mid-Atlantic to the Northeast. So we've got this manufacturing capacity, and then when the Napoleonic Wars are picking up, they can't produce goods. So boom, 2 things are going to happen. We're going to be able to sell goods to Europe because of our good old dictator / emperor friend Napoleon is causing havoc over there in Europe. So our businesses are going to boom. We can sell goods. That brings money back to our economy. We're doing well. Also, as our economy does well, we're going to be able to buy our own goods because manufacturing is not coming out of Europe. So we're selling goods to Europe, and we are also making our own goods. So it's not like a back and forth. Typically we're buying some goods from Europe. No. We're selling goods to Europe, and we're selling goods in America, and the economy is growing. Yeah. Second good thing that's happening. Well, that's not good for Europe, but that's good for us. And this thing's going to be not good for Europe, but it's going to be good for us. A volcano! Volcano erupts in Indonesia. One of the most massive volcanoes, I believe, not in history, but a very severe volcano explodes, throws ash into the sky. It's so bad that this year of 1816 is known as the year without a summer. A year without a summer. Because the volcanic eruption blocks out the sun, Europe doesn't have a harvest. They can't grow food. They need to eat. They can't grow food. They've got to get their food somewhere. Bad for Europe, good for America, because that food, those commodities are going to come from America, American farmers, more money for America. The era of good feelings, we're making money, awesome, America's going to do well. Enough with the roads and canals. We've already talked about the roads and canals. Yes, you can need the roads and canals to transport the goods, and the government can provide the roads and the canals. Maybe. Anyway, here's the problem, though. To farm, you need land, and you have to buy land, but people don't have money to buy the land. We want the economy to grow. We have a great opportunity here to sell goods to Europe. We want to jump on this, but no one has the money to buy this land in the Northwest. If they just had money to purchase the land or had a way to get the money, we'll just give them money, loan them money. You don't loan money to poor people. I'm sorry. If you're a poor person, I apologize, but if you're a bank, you know what I'm talking about. And if you have money, you know you don't loan money to people that can't pay you back. You know you don't loan money to people who are irresponsible. You loan money to people who are going to pay you back. That's the way that works. So if someone doesn't have money, you don't just give them money. That's not the way that it works. We would love to give them money. We'd love for them to buy the land. We love them to farm the land, sell the stuff to Europe, and we really grow the economy. But that's just what we want, or what ought to be, and what is are two separate things. What ought to be, but what is, separate things. What is you don't have money, you can't buy the land. Sure, it'd be great if you could, and everything would be great, and we would live in the clouds, and we'd eat marshmallows every day, but that's not what happens. Well, sometimes the government is going to say, well, maybe we can make that happen. So also remember American system, Henry Clay. We got to move these people into the Midwest. We got to build roads and canals. And for people to move in there, to buy the land, to take advantage of the opportunity, they need money to do this. If they don't have money, they can't move, they can't buy a farm, they can't grow agriculture, blah, 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 blah. We got to get money to these people. You can't just give money to people. You can't just give out free loans. That's not the way that it works. Oh, yeah? The way that it works is you don't, well, whatever. We'll just make up the way that it works. So the bank is going to loan money to banks. Banks are going to eventually loan out money to people that shouldn't get the loans. Those people are going to use that money, buy a farm, start growing, start selling to Europe, and everything will work out. End of story. Awesome, right? You know it's not going to go that way. The name of the lesson is the Panic of 1819. Something is bound to go wrong. I don't know what could go wrong. Giving money to people who shouldn't have the money? Yeah, there might be a problem there. But hey, look, they're going to be able to buy land, and they're going to, well, then we're going to have, when you can give loans to anyone, we're going to have wildcat banks. We're going to have banks that shouldn't be banking, making loans. And we see the similar thing happen in the 2000 through 2010 when we start, well, let's get to that. We get speculatory loans, speculation. Oh, we got this land. Oh, you think you can farm it? Cool. Here's some money. No. If I'm going to loan money to you, I need to know what's your credit history, what are your capabilities, what's the land like, can we really make money? There's a lot of details. If you ever take out a loan for a house, you're filling out paperwork for 3 days. It's a very intensive process. Speculatory loans, like, speculate, I guess. I think you can maybe make some money. Here's some money. Is that the best way to do loans? So in a real world, and I'm sorry if you do not have money, but you don't give loans to people that can't pay back loans. You don't give loans to people that can't earn money to pay back loans. Well, we could do the farming thing and we could pay it back. Have you ever farmed before? Well, kinda. Like, how do we know that you're going to pay it back? Well, look at Europe. They're doing really poorly. We can make the money really quick. Yeah, but will Europe be doing poorly forever? Is Europe over? We're always going to send food to Europe? Is that the plan? Really? That's some speculation on your part. Yeah, because it's a speculatory loan. Of course it's speculation. In a normal scenario, today, when the few moments where in American history we're in a normal scenario, a lot of times we're in the crazy scenario. But people who have good credit scores, people have ways of paying back the loans, people that are dependable, they get loans. The people that aren't do not get loans. Sorry, we would love to start this farm thing, but we can't. Okay, we're going to change the rules. We're going to change the rules. We're going to write the rules so that basically you don't need a down payment. We're just going to give money to anybody. That's stupid. We would never do that again. Yeah, we keep doing this over and over and over. The government keeps stepping in modern history during our lifetime. If you look at all the economic collapses of recent times, the government steps in like, just give them free money. Oh, you just want to give people who can't pay back loans free money? Yeah, this is going to work out. And every time that they do this, the system collapses. Here it is, 1819. The same thing happens from 2000 to 2010. Oh man, that person really needs a house. Give them a house. They don't have a job. They can't pay for the loan. Yeah, but they would really like a 3-car garage. Just give them the money. government, what are you doing? Anyway, so the government's like, hey, we really need these farms, so just give them the money. And you look at these economic collapses, just give them the money. What could go wrong? I'll tell you what could go wrong. The Great Depression. Just give them the money. What could go wrong? I don't know. The Great Recession. Stay out of the government economy, or stay out of the government economy. Stay out of the economy, government. Anyway, they keep getting in and rewriting the rules on who can get loans. So, new rule, people who can't get a loan, they can get a loan. They don't have to put hardly anything down. Just give them the money quick and easy. You can look up the details in the Panic of 1819 to find out exactly how the government pulled back the restrictions and allowed easy credit to people who did not deserve credit, allowed them to get loans that they normally would not be able to get. So now all of a sudden, they basically look like great businessmen, but they're not. And here's the thing. Before, the bank had no customers. And if there's no one to give loans to, then you're not going to open a bunch of banks. If there's very few customers, then you need very few banks. Don't need a lot of banks if there's not a lot of people borrowing money. But now all of a sudden, everyone can borrow money. You've got all these great customers. So if you have a lot of people that can borrow, then you need a lot of banks. And we get a lot of banks, and we get wildcat banks doing whatever they want. Now, you're probably saying you just can't open a bank. You got to have money to open a bank. And you're right. The problem is, as we mentioned in previous videos, there is a species shortage. Who comes up with these words? Rare earth metals, gold, silver. There's a shortage on gold and silver because Napoleon's brother drove South America into the ground. There's revolutions. No one's mining for gold and silver. All of our gold and silver is being shipped over. Some of it's being shipped over to Asia. There's no gold and silver. If you don't have gold and silver, you can't open a bank. Printed money, paper money, is based on the gold and silver in your vault. If you don't have that money, you can't open a bank. Doesn't matter if there is a high demand for borrowing money. Doesn't matter if there's more customers now. You can't open a bank. You don't have any money. You can't just print. You can't print money. Oh yeah, we're going to. The Wildcat Bank said, whatever, we'll just print money, send it to them. They'll use the money to buy stuff. It'll all work out. No, it won't. It doesn't work that way. You can't do this. The government needs it. Government. You got to stop them. The government's like, let's see where this goes. What do you mean we'll see where this goes? We know where it's going to go. It's the Panic of 1819. You can't just print money. The money needs to be back. Oh my goodness. You know where this is going. All right, before we completely hammer the government, let's talk about two things of the Panic of 1819 where it's not really the government's fault. Number one, so we talked about the embargo allowed us to build up our economy at the right time. Napoleonic wars are going on. They're importing goods. Our economy is going up and up and up. That's cool. That's great. But anyone watching this video knows, hey, guess what? You're not in war right now. Are you at war? No, you're not. Because wars don't last forever. Wars come to an end. Eventually, at some point, the Napoleonic Wars were going to end. And at some point, the people in Europe were going to stop buying goods from us. And they were going to start selling goods back to us. These ups and ups and ups, they can't go on forever. They can't. It's bigger than that. So it was great. We were making a bunch of money until we weren't, because Napoleon will lose and the war will end. And now all of a sudden, England has all these soldiers that are no longer fighting. So what do? They throw them, make them work in the factories. And Europe, they don't really need it. So what they'll do is just start dumping their goods on us. They're not even making a profit. They're selling all of our manufactured goods to us. They're losing money, but their theory is, here's the deal. We're losing money, but by doing so, dumping our goods at a super low price, we're going to drive all of the American manufacturing out of business because they really haven't even built up that much yet. They've only been getting this boost from the embargo for so long. We'll do this. Yeah, it's going to hurt us for a little bit here, but we got to find a job for our soldiers. And if we do this, we'll drive the prices down. We'll drive them out of business. When they're out of business, then we'll jack the prices up and everything will work out for us. And they're right. They drive prices down and our economy collapses. Now, it's not the entire economy, but the manufacturing commercial sector will face a depression. And that has nothing really to do with government policy. Sure, they could have implemented tariffs, but that's not necessarily going to prevent the recession that was going to come. Number two, not the government's fault. So we're making money selling to Europe because of the weather situation. And the idea is, look, if the poor person, don't call them poor person borrows money and they have about 4 good years, they can immediately pay off that loan. Boom, they're good to go and they can be farmers for the rest of life. Just have 4 good years, pay off your loan really quick, you'll be good. Sound good to be true? Of course it sounds too good to be true. Again, war won't last forever. The weather's not going to be bad forever either. Eventually, hey, it warms up. Hey, looking good. And they can farm again. They can grow their own food, and they can buy their own fruit, and they can also export their own food. Guess what? American farmer, we don't need you as much. Sure, you're not all going to go away, but now there's a higher supply of food. High supply of food drives prices down. There's a commodity price decrease for cotton. Also, you've got India selling cotton to England. It's not as good as cotton as the South, but still it's cotton as cotton. So the increase in supply of cotton and commodities and corn and wheat will drive the prices down. And when the prices go down, the American farmers can't make money. They also can't pay back their loans. Commodity prices decrease. Now we have a commodities depression. Again, not the government's fault. The government can't control the weather, or can they control the weather? We'll say that they can't control the weather for this video. And so two things you can't blame on the government: the commercial depression, the commodities depression. Now it's time to blame the government, and we'll do that in the next video. What are the government's